Well, good morning. As you can tell, I'm not not downstairs in the den. I'm not in the I'm not in the shop. I'm in the upstairs office. I'm sort of congested too. So you may have to put up with me kind of coughing and trying to get this out of my chest a little bit. I might have to get me a Mucinex, I believe. But yeah, I'm upstairs in the upstairs office, in the bedroom office, so I can stay warm, and hopefully the signal and everything's coming good from here. I mean, I don't know. Is the signal good, Jamie? I'm seeing you in here. I hope everything's coming through loud and clear. I'm trying to signal's good. That's great. Yeah, I came up and rebooted the router and tried to clear everything out and make sure that I get the best possible signal that I can from up here, because sometimes it it's not the best uh, coming from the house. So I always want to double check it when it comes from the house, because like I said, it's a wireless router from Verizon, and the signal can get flaky at times. And I mean, it does pretty good on streaming, but every once in a while, it'll get uh, pixelated and flaky. So I never know what to expect. I always kind of like to reassure myself of what's going on. But I hope everything's going good for y'all this morning. It is definitely cold down here in Cherryville this morning. Uh, it was 9 degrees, 9 degrees, 10 degrees, single digit temperatures, which we don't get very often down here. That this has been the coldest. This was the coldest night that we've had this year so far, and my pond is completely frozen over. Uh, if I were downstairs, I could show you that, but our pond is completely frozen over, and I'm wanting to stay as warm as I possibly can. Yeah, I guess you got to pull for the Bills today, aren't you, Jamie? You're up there closer to Buffalo. Yeah, it'll be a good game, I think. Depends on if Kansas City brings their A game. We'll see if Taylor Swift brings them good luck or bad luck. Last time they lost to the Bills, Taylor Swift was there, so we don't know if she's good luck or bad luck. So it'll be what it'll be. It was a good game. The second game was a real good game yesterday. The 49ers and the Green Bay. I was kind of pulling for Green Bay, but it didn't matter either way. I like 49ers too. They got two people that used to be on the Carolina Panthers that are with the 49ers now. Their defensive coach is used to be, well, last year he was our head coach after they fired Matt Rule. Uh, he did a great job. They should have kept him, but instead they didn't. And then they got rid of Christian McCaffrey, who turned into their biggest star out there at 49ers. He's helped turn that team around. Him and a lot of other people, but boy, Christian McCaffrey's a spark plug. And he was good with the Carolina Panthers. He was the best player we had, and they got rid of him. That owner is nutty up here in Carolina, but that's what it is. But and it's sort of funny. And then Baker Mayfield was quarterback because he did a terrible job with Carolina, and he's gotten Tampa Bay turned around a little bit. I mean, well, for this year, I mean, Tom Brady had them the best, but they got a little bit better defense and everything. And we'll see what they do with Detroit today. I've kind of got the feeling if Detroit keeps their act together, they'll pull it out. But you never know. I mean, Baker Mayfield may pull it out in Detroit, but sometimes he can go wild. He can play a good game and then he can play a crappy game. He's really not consistent. But we'll see which game they come with. But I think it'll be fun to watch today. I think hopefully we'll have two more good games. I like the quarterfinals. Usually, some of you better played games are in your quarterfinals. So we'll see what transpires. Good morning, James. Hey, good morning, Joey. 14 there, are you? Well, you're warmer than we are. We were 10 degrees, 9 and 10 degrees. We had it kind of flexed, I think, between 9 and 10 degrees early this morning. And right now we're probably 12. Let me see. Well, that's wrong temperature there. Start say I turn around and look at the temperature on this, but this is this echo machine up here is the one I had at Hilton Head.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Yeah, and you hear it talking to me. It'll still give me the temperature in Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's 27 degrees in Hilton Head, it says. So I'm getting that. But well, how is the weather in New York? Do you think they'll get everything cleaned out in Buffalo today? I know they showed on the news where they had all the people lined up. They're going to pay them an hour to shovel the clean off the seats. They'll probably have an easier time this week than they did last week. I think they can get to and from the stadium a little bit easier, but they'll have I would imagine a pretty good mixed bag of people there, and they got to make sure and and get the box seats fixed up for the Kelseys and the Swifties. Oh, it's 20 in Rockingham, huh? In Rockingham, North Carolina? Well, I guess so. Well, you're Rockingham, North Carolina is further east than we are. You're in Rockingham, North Carolina, Kevin. Good morning. I don't want to hear how cold Jeff's out in California. What are you? 50 degrees out there? Probably. Or something like that. Well, you're about 5 miles from the old racetrack. Yeah, I know exactly where that is. I used to go by that area a good bit. I used to have some runs that went to Lumberton and Fayetteville and then even down to South Carolina. And we would out of Greensboro, we would run right down through Rockingham too. So Rockingham's been I've driven a mile over there on 74, going through Rockingham. Stopped at that truck stop right there in Rockingham several times too. So I know exactly where you're at. Know exactly. I mean, when we're coming out of Greensboro, we'll come down, I believe it's 1, and then 1 would get over back on 74 and then cut back through the country when we headed down to Richmond, not Richmond Hill, but toward Richmond Hill. 44 in California, huh? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, it was 9 degrees this morning here. So it's been a chilly one. Been a chilly one. But I'm warm and toasty up here in my office. So I can't complain too much. I'm enjoying it and staying inside because it like I said, it can it would be pretty cold up in my shop this morning, and I didn't want to get up there and try to heat that place up and everything else. I mean, I got the little small heater that I use when I go up there, but I would be testing the elements today, and I didn't feel like getting out to go up there, to tell the truth. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Oh, my audio's choppy. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'll have to slow down. I didn't know my audio was choppy. I'm up here in my upstairs office, so it's possible. Of course, my voice is not the best this morning either. Is the audio choppy for you, Jamie? I can change microphones. Is everybody else? Has everybody else got clear audio? Jeff's saying he's having bad audio. Oh, audio's good for you? Okay. Maybe it's on your end, Jeff. I don't know. Jamie says it's fine on his end. I don't want to go changing anything if it's okay. Audio is good for Walter. Okay. How about you, Kevin? Is audio good for you? You and Joey, you still in here? Is audio good for you? Got down to 31 in Tampa, did it? Wow. That's cold for Tampa. Yeah. Y'all don't have the heaters down there either, do you? So when it gets down to 31 degrees down there, you're bundling up worse than I am. Currently 41. Okay. Yeah. Maybe so, Jeff. Everybody else seemed to have good audio. Yeah. I try my best to set up everything right where the audio and the video are both good. Usually this camera and the setup that I have with this, what I actually do, I mean, for you that don't realize, I'm using my iPhone 13 as a webcam through my laptop. And I use that through what they call the continuity part. And it really works good usually and gives me a good signal from the webcam. As you can see, I can, but you never know. That's why these live audios and videos can be funky sometimes. And of course, I can get the effects through Apple there. And everybody give me a thumbs up if you can. That's a neat thing to do. Yeah, but I try to have the audio and the video coming through as best that I know how to do it. And like I said, it seems to work. I hope it is. just like these Werthers are. I've got me some Werthers. Best little candy around, you know. Okay, you've got a good signal, James. That's great. That's great. Yeah, I like to have a good clear signal and try to, you know, have a good audio and everything too, because that is important. Because if you can't hear me, I know you don't want to look at me. Of course, you may not want to hear me. I don't know. But I hope everything's going good. Like I said, Jamie was talking about the football games. I enjoyed the two games yesterday. I enjoyed the first half of the Ravens game a lot better than I did the second half. Second half, it was all Ravens, and they just walked right through them. And I'm afraid, well, my prediction as it stands now is I think the Ravens will take it all, because I don't think there's anybody in the AFC that's got anything for Baltimore. And it may be a possibility that it's going to be the 49ers and the Ravens. And we've already seen that matchup this year, and the Ravens took it all. You know, they whipped the 49ers pretty good earlier this year, and I think they could do it again. But they showed their might when they played the 49ers earlier this year, and I was pretty impressed. But that's sort of my prediction. Yeah. Well, I think everybody in South Carolina is going to endorse Trump over Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is not as well liked in her own state as a lot of people realize. I think she'll get beat in South Carolina too. And a lot of people are seeing through Nikki Haley. She's sort of bought and paid for. She's not the person we want in the White House. That's for certain. And I don't even know if I want her back in government. I mean, as she left government kind of almost broke, and then within 1 or 2 years, she's back pretty rich by aligning herself with Boeing and a bunch of other people. She had her pockets lined quickly, and she's got big money trying to help her now. But I don't even think she'll win the state of South Carolina, in my opinion. And I don't think she's going to win New Hampshire either. I don't know. I don't think so. It depends on how many of the Democrats switch over to vote for her, because in New Hampshire they let them do that. Well, and that's the truth, Jeff. The internet will bring out a lot of things. There's a plethora of information on all these candidates and everything now. And if we don't get screwed over by some of the big tech companies this time around, I think we'll be okay. But there's so many different outlets right now that's reporting the news and giving the real news, as opposed to the little splash of news here and there. And you can tell that the left-leaning media, all the major media, is so left-leaning, it's pathetic. I mean, if they would once in a while even come out on a decent story about Trump, I mean, you would say, well, okay, they're going to do something equal. No, they don't do that. I mean, that crap that they showed the clips of Rachel Maddow saying, you know, she was just arrogant. And I just can't, that arrogant, she's an arrogant bitch. And I can't stand to even see Rachel turns my stomach. Her and Nora, those two ladies just are sickening to me. They got a smug appearance about them. They got a I know everything and you don't know anything attitude. you got to listen to me attitude, and what I tell you is the truth attitude. That's the way those women are, and it's just pathetic. I mean, I, I mean, Rachel Maddow. I mean, God, ugh, sickening, sickening. But I mean, I think most of y'all saw the what she did the other night, and she blatantly just cut Trump off, and she says, "We're not going to let him spout his lies and his untruth and that sort of." I mean, that they bow down to Biden. They want to lick his boots, and the man can't do anything. But then they want to cut down Trump. So if people don't see how biased everything is, and that to me, that's going to help Trump in some ways because they are so biased. Yeah, yeah. The yeah, the hard Confederate people don't like Nikki Haley. That's for sure, because of the flag situation. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Confederate flag, to me, it can they made a mockery of it over the years, and they made it where it was a bad symbol, and that's what happened to it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the I they blow it out of proportion is the biggest thing. I mean, we're still a Confederate state. I mean, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, all these states will always be known as a Confederate state, regardless of how much history you wipe away. I mean, you can't wipe all of our history. I mean, they've tried to over the years to kind of gloss over it and everything, but why do you want to lose your history? I mean, history, you study history so you don't repeat it. That's the old saying. You want to study history so you don't make the same mistake twice. And, a lot of people uh, think if you get rid of it, get rid of the symbol, get rid of everything, that everything's going to be better. No, it's not. It's not going to change what happened in the past. Oops, I'm falling down too far in my chair. Um, I mean, you're not going to be able to change history. You might gloss over it a little bit, but you're not going to be able to change it. Yeah. Well, the the schools are definitely indoctrinating the young people in the wrong way. And then when they get over to colleges, they really get indoctrinated. Thank goodness my grandson is taking engineering, so he doesn't have to worry about it as much in calculus and physics and logistics and everything else. He's not taking all these liberal arts courses and everything. I mean, these liberal arts courses is where so many of these young kids get indoctrinated in the ultra liberal way. I mean, it's pathetic, but it is what it is. I mean, uh, I was talking about history. I actually have some old articles uh, about the way college campuses were in the 30s and 40s, and they were more concerned about the communists, which basically is like some of the liberals now taking over. And the communists were so uh, uh, predominant in college campuses back in the 30s and the 40s. And that's me going back and some of the newspaper articles that were prevalent in the 30s and 40s in the Carolinas here, because they were complaining about professors that they had at UNC Chapel Hill and everything like that, a lot of the lawmakers. So you're in a constant battle trying to keep things straight and to keep a balance, that's for sure. But it is what it is. We're going to have to keep our heads up and try to correct anything that's going on this next year. I hope we can turn things around. I really feel like there was a lot, and I think most people agree there was too much ballot stuffing. I mean, and Trump got into trouble trying to complain about it. That's what all this January 6th crap's about. And they've tried to demonize him in every way, shape, and form. And I think he's sort of coming out on top with that, because every time they try to demonize him, his poll numbers go up. Yeah. Well, yeah, there was, and you watch if you get a chance to watch Oppenheimer, you'll see some of that going on. Of course, they take a different slant with it. Oppenheimer's wife was a member of the Communist Party, and several members of their family and everything else. And there's a lot of influence there because of that. Even Oppenheimer, though, he was born in America. He wasn't. I think he's a first generation American. I mean, his parents, I think, were from Austria or Germany or somewhere. But it's good to keep ourselves in the center, or and not be too far right, too far left, and just get a good balance. I mean, I can't stand the way our extremes both ways are going. I mean, we've got to be moderate. We got to be able to have a balance between that. I mean, that's how government runs. It doesn't run extreme right, extreme left, and work out real good. I mean, we've got to have a little bit of moderation in there, or we wouldn't have, we wouldn't get anything passed. But we'll see. I just hope we don't lose. I hope we gain congressmen, and I'd like to see us gain some senators. We should gain a West Virginia senator, because Manchin's not going for re-election. Yeah, because we get a we've got to work hard at keeping government as clean as possible. We've got the biggest thing when you go to Washington and you realize it, they got a big machine, a corporate machine, you might say, in Washington. I mean, they don't care if they're left or right up there. They're going to work to be big government. I mean, you hear them talk about the military industrial complex, and we definitely have that. And we definitely have a huge lobby in Washington, D.C. with Raytheon, Boeing, even BlackRock, all these different people that, BlackRock's a scary corporation. That's a big mutual fund or whatever. They're telling people what to do. And to me, BlackRock is about as scary as any other government entity, because they're telling the corporations, you can't hire this way. You got to do all this DEI stuff. And, you know, that's crazy. That is crazy because, like somebody said, if I'm flying across the United States, I don't want a diversity hired pilot in that cockpit. I want the best pilot in that cockpit. I don't want somebody because they say he or she fits all the boxes. He may not be the best pilot, but he, as far as diversity or equity or inclusion or whatever, he or she's gonna make you know be the pilot that you have. And which one was it? I believe it was American Airlines. I believe it was American Airlines had the worst record of hiring more DEI students and everything. So of course, it's probably across the board with Delta and all the rest of them too. But I'm not a flyer, so I don't have to worry about it. I doubt I ever get on another plane for the rest of my life. I don't have any intentions of flying, so I'll leave that up to all you guys that fly out there because that's a scary proposition. But we'll do what we have to do, I guess. I mean that's the fact of the matter nowadays. What else is going on out there, guys? I'm kind of just laid back this weekend, laid back watching the ball games, trying to stay warm. Oh yeah, that plane that the door flew off. Um, I wonder if that was a DEI hired person because they kept saying that they already knew about Boeing knew about those planes and had already told them that planes that had that pressure problem that they not to let those planes fly over the ocean. So just let those planes fly domestically. So I mean that tells you right quick that they know that they got a potential bad problem, but they let it fly anyway. So that's crappy there. Yeah. Yeah, well, I tell you, that's another thing. Everybody's has everybody noticed in their areas how much? Well, they had, of course. I think most people realize Ford has cut production on the EVs. They have shut down one shift of the Lightning plant and are switching that over to Broncos because they said they can't sell them. They're losing money on every EV they sell, and that's going to be the way it is right now because they have tried to roll this out too fast. But for one thing, because of the infrastructure, and people up north are realizing real quick that it doesn't do any good when you try to charge a cold battery. And anybody like myself, I mean, here I've been in the trucking business, most of my life. I know what it means to try to cold start a truck. And we have lots of batteries uh, on those big trucks. I mean, generally speaking, we had four 1,000 amp batteries. So, I mean, that's 4,000 amps trying to start a diesel engine. So, having 1,000 cold cranking amps, four of them in a truck to turn it over. I mean, and then it still would have trouble cranking one in cold weather. So yeah, batteries can go down real quick, and all these people, and they say especially lithium batteries, and then if they do go down like that, then they got a potential of maybe catching on fire. So the fire hazards can be tough on them. So between the fire hazards, uh, not being able to charge these cars, this cold weather that's come through, the cold weather is showed right quick. EVs are not good for the north. not in the wintertime. You better park your EV and drive something else if you've got it. Or hopefully you've got more than one car. But people I think are going to start abandoning the idea of EVs real quick. I mean, who wants to go on a trip? I mean, take for instance, what if they did away with most of your gas stations and your truck stops, and you went down the road and you go, oh my goodness, I only can go X amount of miles, or I'll be running out of fuel completely. And that's what they've got with these EVs. I mean, there's only specific spots that they can charge. I mean, it's not every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. Not every handy mart's going to have a charging station. To tell the truth, very few have it. I mean, you're going to have to go to these charging stations, and a lot of those places are crowded, or a lot of those places don't work good. And I've watched because I was somebody that was in the mindset a couple of years ago, maybe getting a Ford Lightning. And for you that don't realize, if you heard me in the past, I didn't get my Ford Lightning. I actually had put the money down and got a reservation, and I canceled all that. I decided, heck, they went up on them $7,000 or $8,000. I think maybe twice. So, I mean, what I originally thought I was going to get a truck for maybe in the 50s. I thought maybe by the way they were talking, I should be able to fix up, order a nice truck for about 55,000. Well, I actually saw one at the Ford dealership in Gastonia the other day, and it was very similar to what I was going to order. Well, it was close to $80,000. Well, I wasn't expecting to order one for $80,000. I was expecting to get one maybe in the high 50s, low 60s. And that was too much. So I decided that I was going to keep my diesel. I got a 3-liter diesel, 2018, that's doing a great job. Gets 32 miles to the gallon. If Joey's still on here, Joey saw me. Joey saw it. Joey pointed out that I dented my bumper too. I didn't realize I dented my bumper. But I mean, it's a great vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame them, Walter. I don't blame them. There's and the fact that you could tear up some of these EVs towing them too. And these EV owners are going to try to blame anybody and everybody for anything goes wrong with their car. So I wouldn't want to have an EV right now at all. I mean, they would have to come way down in price before I would even consider one. I mean, the fact that with like a Ford Lightning, if you went to tow it and tow something anywhere, I mean, I got 12,000 pound towing on my F-150 diesel, and I can tow probably 300 miles on a tank of fuel, maybe more. With a 12. And I've seen several reports, even the new Tesla truck, the Cyber truck. I saw it and the Ford Lightning all did a towing test at 12,000 pounds, and they could only get a little over 100 miles on any of them, just a little miles. And I'm thinking, man, that's terrible. I mean, if I got to go out on a job local around here and pull my skid steer, which is 12,000 pounds, if I pull my skid steer and a trailer and go, 40 miles one way and maybe come back and you never know, 40, 50 miles, I could barely make it. I could barely make it. I mean, I remember doing a job over in Charlotte, and it was probably 45, 50 miles from here. And then if I had to, go a little bit off route or anything else on the way back, I mean, I could possibly not even make it that short of a trip. Whereas I get into one of my diesel vehicles, I mean, I can fill it up and go there and back and 2 or 3 times probably. I mean, that's ridiculous to be anxious to think that you might not even make it back. Yeah, that's the thing, Walter. I've heard they've had to tool up. It costs them anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million just to tool up to be able to do the EV stuff. So it's not a good fix for the country right now. I mean, John Kerry and his crazy bunch, they need to get off their high horse. Of course, John Kerry doesn't worry about it. He flies all over the world, not just the United States, and not his private plane, but the private plane his family owns. He personally doesn't own it. His wife or his wife owns it. I mean, he wants to make it sound like, oh, no, I don't have a private jet. No, you don't have it, the title on your name. No, you're not making the payments. You're just reaping the benefits of what your family or your associates own. So, that's the jibber jabber you get from a politician like John Kerry. And he is as arrogant as he can be. And he's pushing that green agenda. He's always been on the edge. He was a war protester in the Vietnam War. He went to Vietnam and came back, and he wanted to make a name for himself and got out there with the protesters. And I mean, he's just a piece of crap. Never done a lick of work in his life. Nothing. I mean, a politician. He's been a brown nosing politician. Anybody that knows John Kerry, all of his life. Of course, he didn't have to work. He married into the Heinz ketchup family. So he married well and, got it made. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know it. John Kerry is he's the elite. He's a better than thou type person. I mean, I'm a working man. I'm a blue collar guy. Always have been. Always will be. I get out there and I do my own work, like Jamie. Jamie's a blue collar guy. Jamie gets out there and does the work, built the business, does real good. I know a lot of your other guys, Walter and Jeff and everybody else. We work for a living. We work for a living. We don't just mess around and get a free paycheck. I mean, fortunately, my time of life, I am retired. So I've got my investments that I worked my butt off for to get are now paying off for me. But it took me 70 years to get there. So it was not an overnight, it wasn't an overnight gift, that's for sure. And, it is what it is. Yeah, well, Paul said, parents probably more like it, Jeff. You're probably right. Uh, I can't stand some of the politics, and it's. I mean, even though Donald Trump is rich, Donald Trump has got a blue collar attitude, in my opinion, and I think that's his appeal. I think his attitude of rolling up your shirt sleeves and getting it done has a better appeal than any other politician that has come around in the past 50 years. I think that's why, I mean, black, white, everybody that's done any work and looked at that, they go, yeah, I like this guy. I mean, he gets kicked in the butt and he gets right back up there. And that's what scares the heck out of these politicians. And I really don't know how many people could have stood the test of time and done what he's done. And think how much money that they have wasted in the United States trying to keep him from being on the ballot and from being elected. I mean, they have spent hundreds of millions of dollars all over the United States, these different states. And I mean, this junk in Georgia. I mean, look how that lady's doing in Georgia, and just wasted millions of dollars to try to get Trump. Well, that's true. Yeah, you got your good one with Gretchen, hadn't you, Walter? I mean, she's a she's a doozy there. Of course, we've got our own doozy here in North Carolina. I hope we can get rid of him this time. And I hope we can get us a good governor. And I hope we can turn the state around. We're teetering on a purple state's what they call it. State of North Carolina was red last time, but it is teetered on being more purple than red because it's we got a lot of Democrats. But I hope they wise up this time. I hope they don't want the same old, same old. But I mean, I got in an argument on Facebook with some ultra liberal that's here in my hometown. The girl's just an idiot. Well, probably say it's probably in the billions instead of millions. I mean, they've done a lot of damage to the United States. I mean, all the billions that they've had to borrow and the billions of dollars that they've foolishly sent to Ukraine. And you saw, I don't know if y'all saw where Ukraine actually killed an American commentator over there. I mean, a journalist, an American journalist. They put him in jail because he was against Zelensky, and he was writing articles. So they put him in jail. Well, he's dead now. And does Joe Biden or the major media say anything about it? No. They kind of just wash it under the rug, sweep it under the rug. But that is what it is. But, you know, hopefully, like everybody was talking about, the internet is letting the right information out. And you can't get it from 40 or 50 different sources. And then the major media tries to say, no, don't believe those people that are saying that. You get CBS and NBC and ABC. They want to say, don't listen to these people on the internet. They're wrong. Yeah, we've already seen who's wrong. We've already seen those people that said, take the shot and it will stop immediately. COVID will stop immediately if you take the vaccine. Yeah, that's what old Rachel Maddow, that's what she got up there and said. And she ended up getting COVID 2 or 3 times herself, I think. So these idiots, I think most people are going, we don't need to listen to them anymore. Not at all. Well, guys, I don't know how much more you need to listen to me because I'm about to lose my voice. So I'm going to head on downstairs where it's nice and cozy, get myself ready to watch 2 more football games today, since 2's all we can see today, and see how the playoffs end up for next week. Yeah, that's true, Jeff. Guys, y'all take care. I'm going to give you the good old glory there. We're going to celebrate. I'm going to run downstairs. Take care. I'll catch you next Sunday.